I'm going to hit this tiny joint and tell this story. It's like a Virginia Slim. Anyways, I think it was 2015. I just moved into this little weird apartment off of some street in San Antonio. um, I had done a few art events with a guy there who I believe I perceived him as straight at first. I don't know what I perceived him as, honestly. I think that I might have thought he was a little gay and then turned out he was straight and then turned out he was a little gay. I don't know. Anyways. um, so I was trying to hang out with him. He was kind of awkward. I'm also kind of awkward. And I just could never really understand like where he was trying to go with this friendship. Um, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna, make an effort to be friends with him. So I said, I'm gonna invite him to a few things. I invited him to a few events that had happened around San Antonio. And then I think I had posted on Facebook about going to Hippie Hollow. And if you are from Texas, you know that Hippie Hollow is like the nude beach or nude park in Austin, Texas. So I was like, yeah, I'm going out to Hippie Hollow. And I just made this open invite to people. Um, Little did I know that that open invite was going to cause a whole series of confusing events for half of a year. Maybe not even half a year. I think it sort of spanned over a few months. Half a year. We're going to say half a year, 6 months. So the Hippie Hollow thing happens. I say, hey, I'm going out here. And he ends up hitting me up on Facebook and being like, I really am trying, like he had just gotten out of a relationship. These are the red flags that I missed when I when I was going through this situation. But he was like, just got out of this relationship. I'm looking to like sort of try new things. There was an innuendo in that concept of trying new things. Yes, don't talk about me because I keep letting the joy go out because I keep talking. I'm definitely that friend. Anyways, so we go to Hippie Hollow, and it was kind of a weird adventure. And we needed to get some weed, so I was like, let's stop at a friend's house. I knew a guy who sold weed, so we went there and we hung out for a little while. Again, me being just like completely oblivious, not thinking about anything. We hang out. We go to like get some food on the way out to Hippie Hollow. And as we're going, he starts telling me about his night. Now, mind you, we have driven from San Antonio to Austin, hung out with this person, and somehow we get on this topic after all of this has happened about his night the night before. And he was like, yeah, I went to the bathhouse. And in my head, I was thinking like, no, I know the bathhouse is a little gay. Uh, and I thought you were straight. So I was massively confused. So he keeps talking about this situation of him being at the bathhouse and basically like trying to get fucked. Um, so I'm like, okay. In my brain, I'm thinking like, okay, why is he telling me all this? Like, maybe he's just wanting to come out. So I'm like, okay, let me just be supportive. So he's telling me, he tells me this story about like him waiting at the bathhouse and like trying to get fucked by this dude. And I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, I didn't really know you were into, playing around with men or, being involved sexually with men. And he goes, yeah, it's like a new thing, like super casual. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess so. And then he goes, I really wanted you and your friend to like fuck me. I was like, you really just have to warn somebody, but I guess there's no way of actually warning anybody to say like I wanted you and your friend to fuck me. Uh, yeah, and he was like real detailed about it too. He was like, I wanted you in my ass and him in my mouth, and I was just like, oh my, okay. So now I'm like, we're going to this new beach. I hadn't really thought about the fact that like I was going to the new beach with somebody who was sexually interested in me, and I wasn't really like in a place to want to do that. And I think that he thought that that's what was being prompted. Um, so, anyways, we go, we hang out, we drink a bunch of gin, we smoke a lot of weed. He talks more about like his want to sort of explore men. And I was like, okay, I can see how that like could be a thing. Um, and then, the drunker we get, the more weed we smoke. The sun is like draining the life out of us. And I think on the way back, he was like, I really would like to like try something sexual with you. Like, I want to have this sexual experience with you. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really know. Because one, we had kind of worked together as like artists and like curated a show together. So I felt kind of like it was going to like impede on our like sort of work relationship. And it did. It did eventually. Not in this moment, but down the line it did. Because then I was just like, oh my God, this dude is sort of a mess, as we all are. Because I was probably a mess at that point in time too. So we go back and we're like talking about it, and I was like, well, I don't really feel up to doing that today. Maybe some other time we'll see how it works out. And I think we had hung out a few times, but there was like a bunch of people that was involved. And then finally, a few months down the line, I was like, okay, well, like, if you want to come over and hang out, let's hang out. So he comes over, and I really don't think that I was thinking that going, anything big was going to happen. One, I knew that up until these like last few months, that like he was um, pretty much straight. And if any gay guys are watching this, you know that like for few experiences with the straight guy trying to be with another man is always like the most awkwardest, weirdest kind of experience because they're learning. Um, so I wasn't too just like, yeah, let me just hook up with this guy. Um, I wasn't physically attracted to him, but creatively he was attractive to me. So therefore, like I could do it. But I tried to hold off as much as possible. But then this point comes where he's like, "Let's hang out," and I was like, "Okay, like totally. We're gonna hang out. You can come over. I just got in this place." I was like, "Come over, hang out. Let's see what happens." So he comes over and he orders pizza. And at the time, I was eating all things that don't agree with my body. So I was eating pizza, and we eat pizza and we watch a movie, and I think we're like watching like somehow we got to be like watching Queer as Folk, and we're talking about like sexual experiences, and he tells me about again the night before he was at the bathhouse and how he basically got fucked by like four guys in one night. And I was like, okay, this seems to be going from like one extreme to another extreme. So I wasn't too keen on trying to fuck him. But we talk, and where he's talking about how like the first guy couldn't get it in, and he says that he's fucked like these four people in one night. But I often think back on that moment and wonder if like he attempted to fuck, like he was trying. Like his big thing was that he wanted to be dominated. He wanted to be fucked. So he's really looking into being like really submissive. So I was like, okay, well, do you want to blow me? And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll blow you. Now, mind you, again, he is a straight guy. I was probably his like third to fourth penis that had went into his mouth. And, it wasn't that great. He didn't quite know what he was doing with the oral sex. And I was like, okay, so he's blowing me, or at least attempting to blow me. And I'm trying to like stay as focused as I can because I'm just like, this is not really good. Like, there's a whole lot of teeth. There is a whole lot of misuse of suckage. Um, I don't know what's going on. And he like comes up and he was like, I really want to try to like deep throat you. And I was like, okay, like you could go ahead and try that. I was like, I told him, I actually was like, I think that's a bit ambitious of you, but if you want to try, like, I'm here to allow you to experiment. Like, we're just doing this sort of like experimental thing. It's like college. So he goes and he tries to put all of my penis into his mouth, and he immediately gags. And I was like, okay, like, you don't have to impress me. Like, there's no need for you to actually do all of that. Like, why don't we try something else? I was like, why don't we just jerk off? Because I'm really just at this point trying to get out of the situation because he gagged like, and I was like, that feels like you went a little too far. And he's like, no, I really want to do this. So I was like, okay. And he goes down, and mind you, he had eaten pizza before this. Attempts to try to and he gets down to the base of my penis, and then as he comes up, it's like all of this vomit that just spews onto my fupa and onto the bed. And immediately, like, I look at him and he's just like, I could just see all the color leave his face because he's just like so embarrassed. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And it's like fucking pizza chunks. It's like red. It's rough. It's not the like, oh, cute, I might have threw up a little mucus. Kind of throw up. It's like, I for real threw up the shit that I just ate not too long ago. So he's like, don't move. So I'm like trying to direct him to get the towel so that I can like clean myself up, but I have to like just lay there in this like pool of vomit. And then he like poorly cleans it up, and he like I like wipe it off of me, and he's like trying to wipe it from underneath me because it's now gone down into my butt crack. And he's like, he pushes me back down and proceeds to try to continue to blow me. And I was like, nah, like, nah, we're good. I was like, I need to shower. Like, I need to like clean myself up. Um, I'm good. Uh, and like for 2.5 seconds there, I was like, can this happen? And I was like, this is fucking disgusting. So I was like, no, I can't go any further with this. We're gonna have to call it quits. Needless to say, I don't think I ever saw him again after that. So if you're fucking with a straight guy who has never sucked a dick before, tell him to take it easy, take it slow, um, and don't let somebody throw up on your dick.